Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for tuning in. We have a lot to talk about. And I guess to kind of explain exactly what's taking place with impeachment, I just listened to a morning Joe segment, and this is the journalist who wrote the article on impeachment in the Atlantic, and he admits that in the interview, I watched it so you don't have to. To my super chat, thank you so very much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. I'm actually uploading as we speak a really cool segment I'll tell you about in a little bit. But ladies and gentlemen, there isn't going to be a conviction of President Trump. There will not be a conviction of 67 senators. You need 2/3 of the Senate. That's why when they say we're going to pack the courts, we're going to make it, 77 justices so we can get through our liberal legislation. No, you can't. That you need what, 2/3 of the House. So that's not going to happen. And then you need 2/3 of the Senate as well. But you're not going to get 2/3 of the Senate. Do you understand that, Democrats? Yes, they understand. So why are they doing this, knowing very well that Trump will not be convicted of any crimes, any high crimes or misdemeanors? The Senate's impeachment role, before we get to that, why are they doing this? They're doing this in a very bizarre way to show their dislike of Trump. To show their dislike of Trump. To explain that they don't like Trump. They simply do not like Trump. That's why they're doing this. That's why they're saying, "Oh, well, you know what? We need to make sure that President Trump is impeached in the House because the impeachment process." And then the guy brings up, "Oh, well, people are trying to save this country from Trump." It's like, no, these are anonymous, completely bogus articles written about from anonymous sources, the same sources that BuzzFeed uses. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, these people in his administration, they're trying. It's this, they're trying to save us from him. He's just so polarizing." And it's like, yeah, he's not really polarizing, actually. The media has done a number on the public. The media is basically, BuzzFeed is the U.S. media. That really, it really just, the United States media is one giant BuzzFeed article that even Mueller has to refute. Like, imagine you're Robert Mueller and you have to refute that article. You literally have to refute an article, and it's like, and still people can't believe that it's like, there's no basis in reality to say that Trump told Cohen to lie to Congress. The obvious answer is that there was no collusion. Trump did not tell Cohen to lie. There was no obstruction of justice. If anything, Mueller has been complete. There's nothing to impede Mueller. Absolutely nothing. And they've been so overzealous, whereas when Hillary Clinton transferred top secret intelligence and special access program intelligence outside of the United States government, which is beyond a high crime, you would think that they would investigate that. Well, they didn't. They didn't. They covered that up. They covered that up. They completely covered that up. So it's like, ladies and gentlemen, it's like you have a situation where they admit, the guy who wrote the Atlantic article admits that they know they're not going to convict Trump of anything. They know that. They already know that. The reason they're doing it is just to vent. There is no end game to this other than to continue a temper tantrum that started on January 20th, 2017 and has not let up. It is a temper tantrum that has just continued. So they know they can't. You need 67 senators to convict a president after he's been impeached in the House. So let's just read the Senate impeachment role. The United States Constitution provides that this is from the Senate.gov. The United States Constitution provides that the House of Representatives shall have the sole power of impeachment, and that the Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments, but no person shall be convicted without concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. So 67 senators. The president, vice president, and all civil officers of the United States are subject to impeachment. The concept of impeachment originated in England was adopted by many of the American colonial governments and state constitutions. So the way they justify putting the country through yet another ridiculous hoax is that they're going to impeach the president on something. It could be literally that they just don't like him, that he's caused division. We've always been divided. When has this country not been divided along political lines? When have we not been divided along political lines? Okay, let's just read this really quickly. Jackson, Thomas Jefferson. So you can go back to the beginning of this country. Andrew Jackson and Thomas Jefferson. Trying to find something. How Jackson tried to save his wife's honor. Andrew Jackson blamed his wife's death on the critics who hit their marriage during the 1828 campaign. Okay, you can just look at John Adams and Jefferson. You could look at how Andrew Jackson hated the press. Okay, wasn't the first president. It's just how Andrew Jackson tried to save his wife's honor. Andrew Jackson blamed his wife's death on the critics who hit their marriage during the 1828 campaign. This is CNN article right here. There's a million examples, but these are the first examples that come to mind. Adams versus Jefferson, the birth of negative campaigning in the U.S. Okay. Negative campaigning in the United States can be traced back to John Adams and Thomas Jefferson back in 1776. The dynamic duo about helped. Okay, so but by 1800, party politics had so distanced the pair apart. For the first and last time in U.S. history, a president found himself running against his VP. Things got ugly fast. Jefferson's camp accused President Adams of having a hideous, I can't even say that word because of YouTube policy's character, with neither the force and firmness of a man nor the gentleness and sensibility of a woman. In return, Adams' men called Vice President Jefferson a mean-spirited, low-lived fellow. The son of, okay, and then I can't say that because of YouTube policies. We were never united in the sense that there wasn't one part of the country pulling for one politician and another part of the country, So, I mean, we can, there's a million examples. It goes right back to 1800. Jefferson hires a hatchet man. Back then, presidential campaigns didn't actively campaign. To Jefferson's credit, so he hired playing the, okay, so they went personal. It was nasty. They insulted each other worse than anything Trump has ever said. The dirtiest campaign ever, not even close. This is Forbes in 2012. In the election of 1800, President John Adams and Vice President Thomas Jefferson, the two highly elected officials of an Aurora race, and established the tradition of negative campaigning that would cause our current candidates to blush with embarrassment. He said, one of so-and-so's surrogate was influential president of Yale University, a John Adams supporter who publicly suggested that were Jefferson to become the president, we would see our wives and daughters the victims of legal prostitution. Okay? That's what we're talking about here. This is the origins, the beginning of our nation. Then you have abolitionists and the Civil War and people who wanted to promote and continue slavery. And obviously you had, 700,000 Americans lose their lives in the Civil War. So, I mean, it's like Democrats are like 620,000 people. 620,000 Americans lost their lives in the Civil War. New estimates raise Civil War death toll. Okay, so what? Well, actually, 750,000, 20% increase by. So now it's 750,000, according to this New York Times 2012 article. Okay. So I have to say that I have to kind of explain when people say, "Oh, well, he divides us." Golly gee, he really divides this country. He just divides this country. It's like, no, President Trump does not divide the country. People who can't stand they lost divide the country. People who cannot stand that they've lost divide this nation. Get used to the I word. Impeachment is about to dominate Trump coverage. Why? The Washington Post. Why would that be? 8,000-word argument. It's time for Congress to judge the president's fitness to serve. What about a great economy? Impeach Trump. So the economy of 3% GDP growth. We're probably going to get a 3% GDP growth this year. So the national economy is in process to around 3% GDP growth. So President Trump is on pace this year for 2019 to get 3% GDP growth in 2019. Outlook for 2019 and beyond. Let's see. Oh, sorry, 2018. Of about 3%, is poised to increase about 3% in 2018. Okay. And then it might decrease to what, 2.3%. The average was 1.5, 1.6%, sorry, under Obama. So the basis for the impeachment is that he's not fit to serve. He's not fit to serve. But how is he not fit to serve when we have a growing economy? How on earth is he not fit to serve when we have a growing economy? Let's see. Manufacturing jobs under Trump. Ten times Obama's. Wow, the Trump manufacturing jobs boomed 10 times Obama's over 21 months. The Great Recession officially ended in June 2009, 6 months into former President Trump's first term. The economy continued to shed jobs until the following March. Manufacturing was particularly hard hit, with almost 2.3 million manufacturing jobs lost. Lost between January 2008 and 2010. In terms of Trump, let's see. There's a graph. Gosh, it says like I can't. It's like impossible to just find easy. Okay, so 400,000. Then the worst they can say, the numbers are very unsustainable. But that's, manufacturing jobs up 400,000 under Trump. Okay, that's one article. Have now increased by 400,000. Trump's economy is creating factory jobs 10 times faster. 10 times faster than Obama's. Gee, he's so not fit. Oh my God, he's not fit at all. And then they're like, people are like, oh, what did Trump do for his base? Yeah, well, this is like the 1% that they're talking about. Oh, sorry, like defeating the 1%. If you give people jobs, high paying, good paying jobs, they can, sustain a family and have it. We used to be a country that made things. We used to be a country that you could have a manufacturing job. That was no longer the case under Obama. Now Trump is bringing that back. Trump's economy. This is Investors Business Daily. The end of 2018. Trump's economy is creating factory jobs 10 times faster than Obama's. Why are we impeaching Trump? Can someone tell me this? Frank, what's up, HA? I think it's the legacy media that's dividing the country, not Trump. Exactly. They just hate Trump with fake news and too many people believe it. Exactly. But I'm just, it's interesting. I'm just wondering, like, what is this? In the 17 months prior to Obama's town hall, the U.S. Department of Labor calculated that 40,000 manufacturing jobs have been created. He basically 300,000 lost. President Trump's deregulatory policies and historic tax cuts have led to manufacturing resurgence with 396,000 manufacturing jobs added. In fact, the pace of manufacturing job growth of the past 21 months of President Trump's leadership is more than 10 times that of Obama's last 21 months. We lost 300,000 under Obama. We gained 300,000 manufacturing jobs under Trump. And we lost 300,000. We gave 396,000 under Trump, and he's going into his third year in office. Hello. No wonder they don't want to debate me. How are they? How do people try to call me out? And I say, let's debate, like, crickets. No wonder no one wants to debate me on the Trump economy. You have 396,000 manufacturing jobs created under Trump, and it's not even his third year. And people are like, he lies so much. Well, Obama lied infinitely more. Oh, I didn't know my own Secretary of State had her own server. Trump's deregulatory policies and historic tax cuts have led to a manufacturing resurgence with 396,000 jobs added. Now, Obama lost 300,000 manufacturing jobs, and that is a PolitiFact article. So why is that important? That's important, ladies and gentlemen, because there you go. In fact, there was a net loss of 303,000 manufacturing jobs. Right here. This is a fact check. They love factcheck.org. So here you go, factcheck.org. So you have investors, 396,000 manufacturing jobs, factcheck.org. That's down from 303. Manufacturing employment was 12,258,000 in October 2016, according to most. That's down 303,000 from the number employed in January 2009, the same month Obama was sworn in as president. Josh Earnest was not correct. So they're going to impeach him in the House based on what? Gabbers! It's Gabbers! I love it. It's Obama's economy still. Exactly. So when people are saying, oh my God, like, what better way when they talk about, well, wealth inequality. Yeah, one of the reasons there's wealth inequality is because jobs are just going overseas. That's all we're doing as a country, is just sending manufacturing jobs overseas. If we had more manufacturing jobs in the country, like 400,000 manufacturing jobs created under Trump going into his third year, 303,000 lost with Obama, we have a stronger country. We have you don't necessarily, well, I should say that you have a much stronger country and a stronger economy when you're making things. And you have 400,000 people now who did not have the ability to help their families, to work every day in industries, in the manufacturing industry under Obama. Now they can. Now they can with Trump. They can sustain their families now. And these are jobs that were said to have been, well, lost, and that's it. How many jobs? We have record Black and Latino unemployment, but let's see. How many jobs created under Trump? Total jobs created approaches 4 million. 4 million. And then it says, as wage growth still lags, but these are people who didn't have jobs. And wages were lagging all throughout Real wages were all lagging all throughout Obama's tenure. So there are now 3.8 million jobs created during the Trump presidency. Oh, impeach him right now. Impeach him right now. Just impeach him. Too many jobs, too many manufacturing jobs, too many jobs created. Too many jobs created. My God. When you compare the number of jobs when Obama took office, 11.3 million in 8 years. In 2 years. In 2 years. You have close to 4 million jobs. Okay? You will eventually have more jobs created. When you compare the number of jobs when Obama took office with the total number here, the difference is net. So Obama created 11.3 million jobs in 8 years. And don't blame the recession, because the recession ended in 2009. So it's like, this is very, very interesting. So this is a moneytime.com article. In 2 years, you get 4 million jobs. Okay. In 2 years, you get 4 million jobs. So he's on pace to easily defeat, to surpass Obama's job creation. 4 million jobs. There are now 3.8 million jobs created under Trump's presidency. That's with the media doing everything possible to hurt him. Every single thing possible and known to mankind, practically, through journalism. So, I mean, and you have manufacturing jobs being created. You have manufacturing jobs lost under Obama. So the quality of the jobs are different as well. The quality of jobs are different as well. So it's a different ballgame in every single way. Different ballgame in every single way. Let me just make sure I... And they said, well, it's going to be a global recession. And oh my God, this is horrible. Trump is, and this, by the way, 4 million jobs with Trump having battles with tariffs. Oh my goodness, he's doing everything horrible. It's so bad. Everyone hates him. Oh, look. I mean, his third year, he might even get to half. By the end of his third year, he could possibly, his 4 million jobs in 2 years, he might get to half of what Obama did in 3 years. It took 8 years to get 11 million jobs. 8 years. He has 4 million in 2 years, and he's going 8 years, Trump. So in two terms, he'll easily surpass. You're looking at possibly 15, 16 million jobs created if the economy continues. But it'll still be 12 to 13 to 14 million jobs compared to Obama. He'll have a better economy than President Obama. Much better economy. with manufacturing job growth. 400,000 manufacturing jobs, almost 4 million jobs created. A loss of 303,000 manufacturing jobs. You know, better GDP numbers, much better, much better. When a liberal says it's Obama's, you reply saying that you should love Trump for continuing. Mick Fitz, I will not ever. I will not ever. You leave me at the altar. Elizabeth Luker, hello. Elizabeth Luker, hello. So look at this. I mean, what? 3.8 million jobs created. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I just enjoyed safely and responsibly a Ruger Super Red Hawk 44 Magnum revolver. Went to the range right before this segment. Range is open late, and this range closes at like 10 every evening. But I mean, check this out. The better grouping than even my last. Then I tried though a Heckler and Koch 40 caliber Smith and Wesson. Like my brain was just so happy with the Ruger Super Red Hawk 44 Magnum. It was just so wonderful, and the grouping was like even better than the Springfield Armory XD, which I love. But it was just so accurate. I believe it was like almost an 8-inch barrel. And I actually did a lot better. A lot better with this revolver than I had earlier on in the channel. And it's so awesome. It's an even better grouping than my last segment. And then I just fall off a cliff with the there's a 40 Smith & Wesson Heckler & Koch that I shot right after, and I was like all over the place with it. So, but I settled down a little bit. I don't like the 40 Smith & Wesson round, but that's another story. And the new thing now is emoluments clause. Oh my God. It's like they didn't care. You have Hillary Clinton, who literally used a private server. Literally used a private server. Literally used a private server. Literally used a private server to go ahead and transfer top secret and special access program intelligence. Special access program intelligence. No, it's not. It certainly isn't when there's 400,000. Job creation is very important when there's 400,000 manufacturing jobs created. Obama's job creation had 303,000 jobs lost. Different ball game. You want to talk about fight the oligarchy? Well, yeah, for the average American who wants to work in manufacturing, who wants to, I mean, we used to be able to provide for a family with a manufacturing job in the 50s when people were like, well, you know, we could go back to this marginal tax rate. Yeah, it's a different time. There are actually more loopholes also. And the whole reason wealth inequality, aside from the fact that you have super wealthy people in tech, but one of the reasons there's such wealth inequality is that we don't have what our manufacturing base was being sent overseas. Now you have Rams are in the Super Bowl. Let me tell you, I think the Rams can do it. I like the Rams a lot. I think that they were really awesome tonight. Really awesome. Exactly. Elizabeth Luker. Exactly. You're right. You're 100% right. GDP growth, far superior, far surpasses Obama. Manufacturing jobs far surpasses Obama. Jobs created on pace to obliterate Obama's But Rachel wins. What do you think of Ann Coulter's comments lately on Trump? I have been getting so annoyed with her. You know, I don't agree with Ann Coulter on her thoughts about Trump. That's a pretty hardline approach. You definitely don't have Jeb. And I agree with you, Baracho wins. It's a pretty hardline approach on Trump. And I think in the beginning, she was right to kind of, tell Trump that he'll lose if he doesn't play hardball. But I don't agree with what Coulter is. Earth Today, I agree with you. That could be the case. But why am I bringing up statistics? Richard Faith, thank you. Why am I bringing up economic? Because you cannot say Trump's economy is bad. You can't say that. There's no way to say that. There's no way to say that. And they're like, oh, real wages. For most U.S. workers, real wages have barely budged in decades. So there you go. Real wages didn't do anything under Obama. So it's like, if you look at, okay, so so real wage growth is higher than at any point right now under Obama's administration. If you look at the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta website, well, it's according to November 2018, wage growth tracker. Okay, real wages fell under Obama and then slowly rose. And then they rose back up to 3.9%. So no, they match right now Obama's highest point, but the lowest point it got was the recession, 1.7%, and then it was at 2% all throughout. This is the real wage growth tracker. So there you go. And that's the one thing, real wages. It's like, well, match the highest point in Obama. And actually, Borracho wins. Thank you. George Rivera Jr. What was the real story behind Pelosi and the bus? I've heard everything from 7 congressmen to 93 grandkids. 93 grandkids are on it. George Rivera Jr. Thank you, George Rivera Jr. Luke St. Martin, thank you as well for being a great moderator. From what I understand, even Adam Schiff was on the bus. I think Pelosi was on the bus, and they were exchanging CDs and listening to their Walkmans, and just like the 80s, they were so happy. Like, yay, we're going to Brussels. We're going to Brussels, everyone. Not, evil Trump was like, no, you're not. Ha 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 ha. So that's basically what took place. I think it was a whole bunch of, I don't know how many, but I know Schiff was on the bus. He was not happy. The guy was not happy. He was not happy at all. So, um, how did this segment go from talking about the impeachment, because their entire premise is that he's this monster, yet there's 4 million jobs created, 400,000 manufacturing jobs, better GDP than at any point in President Obama's tenure. The country has peace between we're presiding over peace between North and South Korea, thank God. He's bringing home Americans from never-ending conflicts. Democrats want them to stay forever. So tell me how this guy is not a good president. And how is he not a good president? I have no clue. Like, you have to create and utilize all different types of euphemisms. Oh, well, he represents this and he represents that and he speaks to people and he speaks about this and that and this and that. And oh my God, I guess no. Worse things happened, or the same horrible things happened under Obama. Nobody cared. The media protected President Obama. Nobody cared. You think there was Slate and all the people who are outraged now, Slate and CNN, they hardly covered Standing Rock when people were being brutalized. They hardly covered Standing Rock. People were being brutalized under President Obama's administration. No euphemisms. No euphemisms. No outrage. When Trump was president, oh my God, he's speaking to this person and that person. Oh my God. George Rivera Jr. is just so perfect, though. It was just so perfect that, But ladies and gentlemen, I'll be talking about the impeachment, the attempted impeachment of the impeachment in the House, and then the Senate just laughing. Another failure of Democrats. Give me your thoughts below. Definitely check out my Ruger Super Red Hawk segment. It will be in the description below. I'm very proud of that segment, even more so than even my XD segment, my Springfield XD45 ACP. Thank you so very much, everyone. God bless. And if you get anything from this segment, it's just, you can't impeach someone. Well, Democrats can impeach because they have the House, but you're not going to convict somebody. IBO 2184 Northwest. Yes, absolutely. Actually, I'm curling 110-pound barbells. I'll probably do a segment on that, a quick segment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. You cannot impeach or you cannot convict somebody when Peter Strzok says, we'll stop him. And they utilize a Steele dossier purchased by Clinton, and the economy is far better than at any point in President Obama's tenure. Hit subscribe, and thank you so very much. So my super chat, George Rivera Jr., thank you to everyone. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Thank you.